let's get into the stream. Hold on, I'm waiting for the stream to refresh because right now it's buffering. Oh, are we good? There seems to be a pretty big delay. Alright, so I'm just going to assume that we're good. So, I am here at the witch farm, and I haven't showed off my world in over a year, so there's a lot of things that have happened in that year. So I'll get to that in a little bit. So right here I've got a witch farm, and I've built this witch farm, and it's making all this good stuff for me, so that's pretty awesome. I hope the frames that I'm seeing aren't, it looks really laggy on the screen. I don't know if for me it's not as laggy, it's like I'm getting 60 FPS, but it's only showing very few frames. Let's see if this calms down or gets any better or anything like that. Okay, so we seem to be alright now. So I've got this beacon here, and I've just been slowly working away and digging out these areas, or rather drying them up with sponges and all that. So, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like this is, it goes out 128 blocks in each direction from the witch farm. So this whole area is cleared out. There's just that little section there that I need to work on. And then if I go over this way, you can see this other wall here, but this isn't 128 blocks out. The wall that's 128 blocks out is over here. And as you can see, I'm making these lines here. I'm making columns, and I'm going to make rows to form a grid pattern so that I can dry it up with the sponges. So right now I'm actually going to grab some more building materials to do that. And as you can see, I've got this little melon farm going here because I feel like I'm going to run out of food soon. And if we go over here, I have 6 shulker boxes, and I think the last time I streamed I only had 3. And an interesting story about those shulker boxes, the blue, white, and black ones are from a glitch that happened. I was doing a separate project over that way with a ocean monument, and my world glitched and the chunks messed up, and it accidentally duplicated my shulker boxes. So it set back my progress on the ocean monument for a little while, but I got 3 new shulker boxes out of it without having to go to the end. So that was pretty awesome. And let me put this ink sac away and grab some more building materials. Ooh, awesome. Alright. Usually what I do when I get a stack of gunpowder from the witch farm is I make it in a TNT and then I basically excavate this area so there's no more dirt left. Which is part of the reason why this landscape has so many craters and scars in it is because of TNT, and also because if I let creepers spawn, then I will just let them blow up because there's less digging that I have to do. So yep, the rest of the gunpowder is in there. And we just need a flint and steel, which is right here. And then I probably have to put some of this stuff away because I'm going to be collecting materials. Alright. I want to do some excavating of this area over here because this has been largely untouched by creepers or anything like that, as you can see. So I think right here is a good spot. And now we've got this nice little crater here. And I'll just repeat that a few times. And collect all the stuff that drops. Oh, my inventory filled up. And then I think the last place I want to put the TNT is again in this area, but probably down where the gravel is, where it used to be like deep ocean. Like somewhere down here. So, you know, less digging for me to do. When the time comes to excavate this area, I don't have to dig any of the stuff that was here or in any of the other places that I placed TNT. So it's good for that. And it's also just a nice break from the monotony of placing blocks down, drying the sponges, breaking the sponges. Did I already say drying the sponges? But drying the sponges, placing more, or digging up the blocks, and placing more blocks down and all that. Let me fill up my inventory again. So it looks like this column is already done. I haven't really been, I don't think I've been to the Nether since the Nether, or, yeah, I haven't been to the Nether since before the Nether update, so, oh hey, so, it's been a while since I've been to the Nether. I know they've added a ton of crazy new stuff, and I can't wait to see it as soon as I get a chance, but I haven't been really able to because I've been working on this witch farm for so long. This is like one of the longest term projects I've done to date. Black Cobra, I don't know if you still remember this, but the last time I streamed, I was working on the ocean monument. That was like my big project, and I finished that eventually, and I kind of decorated it to look nice. Maybe if I stop by the ocean monument sometime, I could show it. But right now I'm just working on the witch farm. I found this little witch hut in the middle of the ocean, or the swamp ocean, or whatever you want to call it. And so that's the witch farm itself, and then I'm just building this huge square around it, I guess, and then I'm gonna dig it all down to bedrock so that it will have like maximum witch spawns. So that's gonna be pretty cool, hopefully. Yeah, I think the last time I live streamed it, I was like halfway through draining it. Like it wasn't even completely drained yet. Or maybe it was drained, I'm not sure. But I definitely didn't, I don't know, was it drained? I'm trying to remember. Either way, there's like, it looks really different now. And that was a pretty long-term project too. That was done, it was like, when I was going at my fastest pace, it was looking like it was going to be done in a few months, but then I started slowing down and I stopped live streaming at one point. And then so it didn't get, no progress was made on it for a while, and then eventually I started chipping away at it again and again, and it got done eventually. I've built a lot of stuff since the last time I streamed. Like I even built an iron farm. I built a AFK fish farm. I think I built a gold farm, but all of these things were in the old version of Minecraft, not after the Nether update. So I don't know if the gold farm still works in the new version. I don't know if the iron farm still works in the new version, but those are all back at my main base. Oh, the melons are because I only have a limited number of food here. If I go back, I have this half a stack of fish with me, and I have this shulker box with fishes in them, or fish. And so when I'm draining these like columns with sponges, eventually like I'll take some fall damage at some points, and I will go through so much food that I was thinking, oh well, I don't really want to run back to the base just to get some food. So I started building this melon farm here as well, just so that I didn't have to go all the way back to my base just for some food. I could have it right here. I mean, of course I could like fish or do something like that, but I just thought the melon farm, like it grows just by me being there, whereas the fish farm I have to stop what I'm doing and go and fish. So the melon farm is just so that I don't run out of food here. I also have a guardian farm now, which I mainly use to farm XP. I used to have I do have an Enderman farm as well, but the reason I don't go to the Enderman farm is because it's like one block away from the void, and sometimes the Endermen escape and aggro to me, so I don't want to fall into the void, and even though the XP I get from the Guardians is a little bit less, it's still good enough for me. So I have this Guardian farm that I go to whenever I need XP or need to heal my mending tools. The highest level I've ever been, I think, is like level 105 or something like that. And then I ended up dying to fall damage, which was so stupid and regrettable. Probably the most grueling part of this entire build will be this section right here that I'm about to walk to. right here, because you can just barely see the wall that I have to build my way over to. And if I swim to it, you'll probably be able to see it. So there's this outer wall here, and out here it gets into like the deep, deep, deep ocean, like 32, 33 blocks deep. So that's gonna be the most, like, just grueling part of this whole thing, is placing 32 blocks after 32 blocks and then drying it with sponges and digging it all up. Thankfully, so far, most of this build has occurred in like swamp waters, so it's all shallow like this. But if you go out over there, it starts to get a little bit deep, and that was definitely grueling to drain. But even then, it was only like, that side is like a little bit of deep water and mostly swamp water, so it wasn't as bad as that's gonna be, because that's like all deep ocean. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if I had like a lot more sand and gravel, I would probably be using just only sand and gravel for this, but I have another ocean monument build that I'm working on. It's a different ocean monument, and so I'm still in the process of draining that one. And so basically all of my sand and gravel have gone to that project, and I know I could fly to like a desert or somewhere and just dig up some sand really quickly, but honestly I can't be bothered. And I had a ton of cobblestone back at my main base, so cobblestone and dirt. So I was like, why don't I put it to some good use at least? And even though it's not as efficient as sand or gravel, it will still get the job done relatively nicely. Hold on, let me read your comment. Oh, with the TNT. The TNT glitch thing, if I understand you correctly, I'd still have to drain, I'd still have to drain these areas out, but then after I drain them, I could use the TNT thing. You're right on that. And the sand digger thing, I've never heard of that. I'll have to look into that. Mostly what it comes down to is that it's like, you know, can I be bothered to go through all the redstone and stuff like that for duping TNT or for automatically digging sand. And I don't know, there's something kind of like almost a rustic or like a nostalgic feeling to doing everything by hand. It was like when I first started playing Minecraft when I was really young. You know, I didn't know about any of these TNT dupers or like any of these huge redstone contraptions or automatic farms that use redstone or anything like that. And I had to do everything by hand. And there's like a type of nostalgia that comes with doing everything by hand, even if you know that there's a redstone like automated way to do it, if that makes any sense. Like my witch farm, for example, is powered by redstone, but it's like, you know, witches spawn so rarely. It's not like I can just go out and like just kill witches willy-nilly because they don't spawn that often. So this one will hopefully maximize the amount of times they can, or their chances of spawning, and hopefully that will be better. Like some things I can be persuaded to use redstone for. Other things I'm like, oh, I'm just too lazy. Let me make sure these are 5 blocks apart. I like to make them 5 blocks apart just because I think it's like, well, they're 5 blocks apart, but the space with the water in it is 4 blocks. It just makes it easier and more consistent for using sponges. Yeah, yeah, those were the days, you know, like when you first discover a game and you, I mean with Minecraft, but with any other game in general, when you first discover it and you're kind of like in that like naive little point where you don't know all the tips and tricks and you're still a beginner, those can have some of the best experiences, I think. And it's also, I think there's like a certain level of pride that comes with it too. Like, digging out this whole area by hand, for example, it's like something like, yeah, you know, I did that, I'm proud of that. So, maybe perhaps that's why I'm choosing to dig this out by hand, even though using a TNT duper would be, like, so much easier. That's what I did with the Woodland Mansion. I don't know, I think I live streamed this as well, but there was a Woodland Mansion, and I took it apart bit by bit, like by hand, over the course of like probably a month of just non-stop chipping away at it. And it was kind of cool to look back at the finished product and be like, oh wow, you know, a Woodland Mansion used to be here, and it's like the biggest structure in the game. And I just like dismantled it, so that was pretty neat. And speaking of woodland mansions, I found another woodland mansion in my world because I found another villager who's a cartographer, and he traded me a woodland mansion map that was different from the one I originally had. And so I went to this woodland mansion, and it's like I think if I remember correctly, it's like 20 or 30,000 blocks away from my base. It was like absolutely insane to get there. Um, because the woodland mansion that I first found was only like 10,000 or 15,000 blocks away from my base, and this is like double that. So I don't know if I'm gonna dismantle that just yet. I want to dismantle it eventually, because there's like, I heard there's like hidden treasure rooms in some of them, and above all that they just have a ton of resources like wood and cobblestone and things like that. But I don't know when I want to dismantle it, because it's like pretty far away, so I'd have to do a lot of gearing up, like a lot of storing of food and things, stockpiling of food, and I'd have to build probably a tunnel to it in the nether, just so that I'm not traveling there for an hour. Probably, if I traveled there from the overworld, it would probably take me closer to 2.5 hours. Oh, your faction base, yeah. I remember playing factions with some of my friends, and we found this jungle, and it was on a multiplayer server where there's like thousands of other players playing. So it was kind of amazing to us that we found this huge jungle biome that nobody had been to. And in this faction server, you could get things like animal spawners and things like that. So we built up our base and like animal spawners, and we had these like massive mine shafts and all this cool stuff in this place that somehow nobody seemed to have found. And then, time went on and we started playing on it less and less. And then I think like a few months later, I returned to it, and it was just funny to see like how people had gotten in, and they did find it, and they got into our base and stole our stuff. And yeah, yeah, like you were saying, it looked like ruins. It was kind of funny to see that. But by that point, by the time it was in ruins, it was like we hadn't played on that server for like months, and we weren't planning on it anytime soon. So it wasn't like a huge loss to us. Another thing that's going to be really challenging, I can already tell, is clearing the water out of ravines like this. I mean, this is going to be I'm already getting shot with arrows. This is going to be kind of like a nightmare to deal with. Alright, I think I'm gonna log off for the night, so I'm gonna end the stream here. See you tomorrow, maybe? I don't know if I'm gonna stream regularly again or not, so whenever I'll be back up